Let's talk about women in general in sports, not only in cricket. Do you feel our society is conducive enough to encourage women to come into sport?
I think now that is changing. There are many disciplines that parents are okay to enroll their daughters into sports and make a career out of it. Uh, where I started playing in an academy, when I started, I was the only girl.
Only girl in the
Yeah,
academy.
and then over a period of time, in the recent times, I've seen there are at least minimum 70 to 90 girls who come round the year. And there is, of course, an addition during the summer vacation. So I think definitely that part has changed over the years, and the society is more acceptable towards girls or women taking up sports as a career.
Yeah, thankfully so. Even then, there's a study BBC has done recently where they said about 42% men play something, get into sports, compared to about 29% for women. And 33% respondent felt that women should not get into sports because it's not suitable for their health, etc., etc. So it has to change, and good that it is changing, and you feel that it's changing.
I think one has to look into what sort of facilities the girls have when they are into schools. All the facilities is available for the boys. They have, say, basketball team or a soccer team, cricket team. But do you think every school emphasizes on having a girls team?
No, not really.
So
It's
that
a
is
lot of
where,
grounds to be covered as
yeah.
yet.
So that is where I think girls take up sport only to turn it into a career. It probably is very rarity that you get, yaar, मैं hobby के लिए शुरू किया है, and it is a hobby. You will not get to see that. So that is why I think there is still limited access to school going girls to get into sports.
They have to be really serious about it, then they get into sports. Yeah, I agree. Because that's not one of the favorite pastimes for girls as yet.
There are also some girls who I've come across. They say like, दीदी स्कूल में तो कोई नहीं है हमारा, हम खेलना चाहते हैं लेकिन बॉयज टीम में लेते नहीं है और लड़कियां उतनी है नहीं कि हम एक टीम बना सकते हैं, तो हम कहाँ खेलें?
Change, it'll change,
You know, so
definitely it'll
I
change.
think somewhere even at that level, we need to have the schools encouraging girls to take up sports.
Yeah, some of the sports are there. Like, for instance, I think badminton is one sport.
That is an individual sport
That
because
is an
there you just
individual.
need one or two girls to play the
Right.
sport. But when it comes to team sport, how
11,
many schools
11
have a team
girls.
sport?
That's right. That is the problem. That is a serious problem.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have the figures, but I'm sure that it's changing for better going forward. Now, coming to this ecosystem of producing champion, I believe two of the sports other than cricket that India had produced champions more in badminton, also to a large extent in wrestling. Um, don't you think that that a separate, a very, very focused approach should be there to create an ecosystem for producing champions? And then, as you rightly said, that when it comes to women, do you think the approach to create this ecosystem would be different compared to men?
See, if we are going to just talk about creating an ecosystem for women, then somewhere again we are limiting ourselves in the thought process that the women don't have the facility. Why don't we just look at sports as a
Gender neutral.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So this, it has to come from a level where young children go to learn, school. That's where we educate them. That's where the school has to say, when it comes to sport, there is no boys and girls. The girls are okay to play with the boys are okay to play with the girls. And that is where we have to set us that sort of environment.
Agree.
Yeah.
So it has to be more inclusive. It has to be equality has to be there, and it has to be based on merit. If you're good enough,
And
you play
if
sports.
if you have some exceptional children who are very good in sports, the school should be open enough to accommodate them, to give them the needed support. Sometimes they might have to miss classes. I've missed exams, but my school played a huge role at uh, those years. If not for the support of the school, yes, my parents were very supportive, but had I had to give my attendance at school and forego all those tournaments, I wouldn't have got to playing for India at 16 years. So the school played a huge role. And if we find such players in that level, the school or the college, they have to be open to help them in shaping their careers.
I'm an eternal optimist, as I said, Mithali. With Mithalis around us, if we, the media, if we perform our role properly, I'm sure that kind of change in mindset and that kind of encouragement for women to get into sports would definitely be far more prevalent going
Because
forward.
I did have some conversations with some of these foreign players, and they said that, in their school system, they have scholarships for sports people. But do we have scholarships? You know, that is where, when you talk about having an ecosystem for, getting more champions. But, you first have to set that base.
Duologue with Barundas featuring Mithali Raj. Streaming on the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.